Hey guys, well, voting has closed on the first round of the Reaction and Review Tournament of Doom 2. It has really been a fascinating month as I have watched the votes compiling in on all 8 of these fights, but it is now time for all of us to sit down and take a look at exactly who won these first 8 matches. Ultraviolet versus Sucker Punch. You know, guys, I really didn't know which one of these two was going to win. I, honest to God, had no clue. I kind of had a feeling it was going to be close, but I also kind of had a hunch. I sort of had a feeling that Sucker Punch was going to win. And sure enough, it not only won, it overwhelmingly won. So, yeah, that's definitely worth looking at, man. Just look at, wow. Seriously, guys, I really thought that this thing was going to be closer, but with 79% of the vote, Sucker Punch moves on to round 2. Rambo 3 versus X-Men Days of Future Past. Before I show you guys who won this one, I would like to say right now, I honest to God thought that this thing was going to be closer. I really did. I kind of thought that if I took a 1980s action film, which is something a lot of people have wanted me to cover more of, and I put it up against a recent blockbuster, I kind of had a feeling that the blockbuster was going to win. I didn't expect X-Men Days of Future Past, though, to completely curb check Rambo 3. Holy shit, just look at that, guys. Damn! Again, I really thought that it was going to be closer, but with 72% of the vote here, X-Men Days of Future Past moves on to round 2. A Million Ways to Die in the West versus The Smokers. This one I kind of had a feeling was going to be a very one-sided match, specifically because more people have heard of A Million Ways to Die in the West than have heard of The Smokers. And sure enough, that is exactly how you guys voted. It was absolutely dominant. And with 84% of the vote, A Million Ways to Die in the West is moving on to round number 2. The Machine Girl versus The Collector. This one, guys, I honest to God thought was going to be a really close one because each movie caters to something that you guys absolutely love me covering. Because on one side, we have a Japanese gore film, and on the other side, we have just a general quote-unquote creepy horror film. I really thought this one was going to be close. And it kind of was. However, I honestly thought that it was going to be a little bit closer than 30 votes difference. But with 64% of the vote, the Machine Girl is moving on to round 2. Life Force versus In Time. Again, guys, I really had no clue exactly how you guys were going to vote in, this one. I mean, once more, I kind of sort of thought it was going to be a close one, and it really wasn't. And as you guys can see here, with 64% of the vote, In Time absolutely curb checks Life Force, and because of that, In Time is moving on to round 2. Intercessor, Another Rock and Roll Nightmare versus Hercules in New York. Again, guys, I kind of thought this one was going to be close for 2 reasons. One, we have on one side a sequel to a movie I covered, a movie that was absolute shit in all seriousness. And on the other side, we have Schwarzenegger's first acting role. So I kind of figured that this one was going to be a close fight, and even though it was rather close, I honestly thought it was going to be even closer than this. But you guys have spoken, and with 59% of the vote, Intercessor, Another Rock and Roll Nightmare moves on to round 2. Garzy's Wing versus The Purge. This one I kind of had a feeling was going to be a somewhat more one-sided fight, specifically because I know you guys love it whenever I cover anime, but this sucker was really close. As you guys can see, the voting on this one wasn't quite as strong as some of the others, but still, you guys can see there that this one was somewhat close, and with 58% of the vote, Garzy's Wing is moving on to round 2. Brazil versus RoboCop. You know, guys, out of all the matches in the first round, this one is the match that I knew was going to be the closest one yet. Specifically because when I think about it, both of these films are totally the kinds of things that you guys would ask me to cover. Because on one side, we have a film from Terry, Gilliam, and I haven't covered anything from Gilliam. People have wanted me to look into his films for the series. On the other side, we have a reboot of one of my favorite franchises of the 1980s. I knew for a fact that this fight was going to go it was going to come down to the wire, and look at that. Look at how close that is. 99 votes to 108. There is less than 10 votes difference there, guys. I honestly thought it was going to be close, and sure enough, you guys gave me a really close fight. And with 52% of the vote, Brazil is moving on to round 2. And there it is, guys. Here is how the bracket is shaping up right now. And my God, I cannot wait to see how you guys vote in round 2. Now, I'm going to remind everybody that voting is going to be announced on my official Facebook page. And I do have to once more stress, you do not have to have a Facebook account in order to vote in any of this. However, that is the only place where I'm going to be posting the links to these polls. So please, guys, go over there and check out every couple of weeks, and you'll see when I put them up. I'm going to put up 2 of them in the next couple of days. I'm going to put up 2 of these matches in the next couple of days. I'm going to keep those up for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to take them down. I'm going to put up the other 2, leave those up for 2 weeks, and then all of us are going to come back here, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how the voting went down. So please, guys, vote early, vote often. I really do have to see which 4 of these movies are moving on to round 3.